I'm Sharon Barnes-Waters of 1010 Wins Radio, and today we're going to be talking about a fabulous event coming up on Monday, this Monday, August the 15th, where more than 50 members of the Broadway community are going to be sleeping out on the streets of New York to raise awareness and to raise money, around $350,000, for the homeless youth of Covenant House. And so today we have the president and CEO of Covenant House, Kevin Ryan. And we have the fabulous, beautiful, and talented Tony-nominated actress, Stephanie Block.
That woman.
Right here. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Kevin, I want to start with you. What is Covenant House? What do you guys do? What's your mission?
So Covenant House is a bridge for kids from the streets to safety. So for kids who don't have an inspiring circle of love around them, kids who are, getting sucked in by the guns and the gangs and the violence of the streets, Covenant House is safe harbor. Covenant House works in 6 countries and in 30 cities. We're opening up in Chicago in a couple of weeks. And for young people who need a place where they can be safe and dream big dreams, reboot, and then run hard against their biggest aspirations, that's our movement. We don't think of ourselves as 30 buildings in 6 different countries. We think about this movement of people who are actors and artists and poets and philanthropists and teachers and mentors and coaches coming together to be love in the world for kids who by and large just don't have that right now.
So we're talking about Broadway and Covenant House. Whose brilliant idea was this?
Well, this was...
and when did this start? Who's the brilliant, Who's the genius behind this?
It was so interesting. They had already established a sleep out program with businessmen, with mothers. There are a whole wonderful contingencies that have been doing this. I was invited to sing at a concert called The Night of Broadway Stars, and I sang. I did what I thought was sharing my God-given gift, but what I got was an absolute gift that night by standing in the wings, listening to these kids kind of tell their story, and I was so moved. Another wonderful gal by the name of Carpathia Jenkins, who is now on the board, she was moved to such an extent she had to become a part of the board. We said, well, if they can do it, we can do it. And we call Broadway our home, and we pass the Covenant House almost daily. We're blocks away from this wonderful building that houses these amazing children that perhaps we are walking by every day. What can we do? And we thought, okay, well, we've toughed it before. We can sleep out on the streets just like these businessmen and these, other groups. And the first year, we were a small but mighty crowd.
What year was that? How long ago was that?
That was 4 years ago. We're going on our 4th sleep out this Monday. And it was another one of those experiences that changed the lives of every single performer that was there. Now, granted, I'm going to take that back because it's not just performers. It is stage management team.
The Broadway community.
That's exactly right. And we call ourselves a community because we do like to come together and try to make change. And we recognized Covenant House was making monstrous change in the world, and we just wanted to be a small part of that. Yeah. And it's grown into a bit of a movement in our Broadway community, and now, as you mentioned, over 50 sleepers. We have, I think, close to 80 sleepers this year. We are trying to reach that $350,000 goal, which makes a difference, and that's the beauty of Covenant House. You see where every cent that is donated, where it goes, and it's not just a roof over their heads.
Is it individual people trying to raise the money, or is just putting it out there and everybody
We have
donate?
individuals, we have teams. There are some shows like the Book of Mormon, there may be 3 people that get involved and they create a team. So, but it doesn't matter. You know what? We will take every cent that comes in every way possible because it goes to the same pool of money that helps these tremendous kids.
So, Kevin, when they came to you with this idea, what did you say?
Yes.
Where are we going to sleep? Where are they going to sleep?
Well, no, they sleep. We have 350 young people who sleep under a Covenant House roof in New York City every night. Those are both homeless teenagers, but also little ones who may be being parented by a homeless teen mom. And we have space adjacent to the shelter at 41st and 10th, which becomes the home for our sleep out. And it's not a night of pretending you're homeless. No. It's a night of witness and solidarity. My favorite part of the Broadway sleep out is, and it's pretty spontaneous, when the artists come together and they sing a lullaby to the kids. And you can see all the young people leaning up against the window to watch below and think to themselves, why are these 80 crazy people sleeping outside?
On a cardboard box.
But then singing.
Because that's like, Stephanie, this is what I was going to ask you. paint a picture for us of the night. I mean, you're in your PJs, your fuzzy slippers. So you're not snoring, are you?
No,
What are you doing? How you pass the night?
I'll be really honest. Very rarely do we sleep because of the location on 41st and 10th. You're right there at the entrance of the Lincoln Tunnel. It's loud, depending on the weather. Last year we had flash floods, so we were kind of all grabbing our cardboard boxes and going under scaffolding, trying to keep dry, trying to keep warm. Now, granted, we do have somebody there that keeps us safe. He's at the, you know, right at the entrance. Luckily, we do have a bathroom that we can use in the middle of the night. But all in all, it really is us in our sweatpants and trying to just keep a mindset on why we are there. And the conversations are meaningful.
With the kids. The kids are
The kids get to sleep soundly in their beds, and that's the way we want it. That's why we're down on the streets, so that they can
Because I read
that
something,
bed.
I saw a picture of a marquee and I want to read it. It says, Broadway sleeps under the stars so the kids don't have to.
Yeah.
And that tells the story
Yeah.
there. That's a moving
And
thing.
as Kevin said, we're not trying to pretend that we're homeless. We're not trying to, you know, figure out how that feels or to understand where they're coming from. It's to say, we're down here, we see you, we recognize you. You are worthwhile to us and worthwhile to what we're doing this evening, and we hope we make a bit of a change, a bit of an impression on you, the way you've made an impression on
Because
us.
from what I'm hearing from you, Stephanie, you are all in.
I'm all in.
You're all in on this. And you have a daughter that's a year and a half old. What are these, I mean, you've been afforded a wonderful opportunity in life. What are those lessons that Covenant House is teaching that you want to bring to your daughter?
The lessons are huge and small at the same time. I am going to embrace this child. I am going to allow her to be who she needs to be, who her authentic self is. The stories from these kids whom we've met, they run the gamut from everything of mental illness, and their parents refuse to accept that. So if that's what it is, you're not one of us, to being organic to their sexual orientation, that's not allowed in their home, to abuse, to sexual slavery. I mean, it really does run the gamut. And when I look at my precious little person who's now a year and a half, I just want to embrace her. You used a phrase called the inspirational circle of love.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I have to be that for my child. I have to be her shelter. And when I meet these kids that range from 17 to 20 and where they are in their lives, how we try to regain their trust, not as a parent, but as someone who we say, we do see you, we celebrate who you are,
right.
We're going to encourage you to go out into the world and be a viable part of this community, of this town. You're going to find what your passion and your power are. They grow, and their posture changes, and the poetry is incredible. The music is incredible. Their pride of going to be a receptionist at a car dealership is incredible. And when you witness that, there's no other way but going all in. There's just no other way.
Has there been one story from one of these children that has totally blown you away or moved you, or that you can remember and say, oh my God?
I've had a lot of, pardon me, oh my God moments. Without saying a name or to protect
Of course.
their spirit and their journey, there was this gentleman who spoke to, when he was very young, his mother was addicted to drugs. He can remember sitting on her lap watching TV, and he thought she was taking a nap. Well, that nap lasted for days. She never woke. And I believe he went to a neighbor's house. The neighbor then in turn, you know, called the social services. He then went into the foster care system, got lost, got abused, got neglected, and he found his way to Covenant House, and he has made his life into something to be very proud of. And there's no blame there. There's a baby sitting on his mom's lap, and next thing you know, you're in the system, and you get lost in that system. I like the phrase, there's no such thing as other people's children. That's the bottom line. So we as a community have to reach up and lift them and tell them, we're here for you.
And, you know, Kevin, I'm going to go to you because one of your former employees told me that you are the real deal, that you have the heart of these kids in mind, and that, you know, you've been a children advocate in New Jersey. You've put forth and put legislation that has changed things. So now we have this program, this fundraising program. How do your kids view the Broadway community coming in, stepping in to do this? And how has these funds helped you in your goals to help the kids?
Well, first of all, thank you for quoting my mom. I'm really grateful.
I'm getting paid
I'm really grateful.
by the word.
You left out that part about handsome, but on the recut, we'll get that in.
We'll put that in. B-roll.
You know, whether it's our birth kids or it's our Covenant House kids, what we want to do is be helium for kids' dreams. This is true for everyone who finds their way into Covenant House. And part of the reason I think that the Broadway community is so present to us is because that is just, I think, by virtue of who they are, a very big-hearted community, and they have enormous empathy for what our young people are experiencing. So how do you unleash kids' potential? How do you help kids aspire and stretch and reach and then shine? You get them to believe in themselves. So for some young people, that's going to mean that they just need a couple of days, right, to exhale and get a warm meal and have a safe place to sleep. But for a lot of young people, it's going to mean that they have to check into what's deeply dispiriting them and what's hurting them. So we have teams of lawyers and doctors and psychologists and mentors and coaches who come in to this movement and help our kids on their journey. And you can see it at Covenant House too. When you see young people who are making eye contact with you and are smiling, those are young people starting to check into the reality of what's the future for them, right? The horizon isn't tomorrow morning. The horizon could be college. It could be a job. It could be their own apartment. And you can just see kids begin to shift.
Wow.
If you come into Covenant House and you see kids staring at the floor, you see young people who are holding themselves. These are kids who are new to the space and who are still trying to negotiate that transition. Once young people believe in themselves, all bets are off. We can do anything. Isn't this the scaffolding of our lives? Once upon a time, Stephanie's people said, "Oh my God, can you sing?" Now, by the way, my people said that too. My people were lying. My people were lying.
See, I didn't hear
but
that.
the happy little lies that our people tell us,
I know.
and the happy little truths that our people tell us become the scaffolding of our lives. It's what makes us audacious and makes us reach and stretch. Oh, I can do that. And we try to do that for kids. We try to breathe new life and hope into them, and then we are not going to be the place where kids live forever. We want to send them onto journeys of aspiration and hope so that their future is one that's filled with their dreams. And that is the great joy of Covenant House. We have a member of our board of directors at Covenant House, who now is my boss, was once upon a time a homeless teen mom at Covenant House.
Paying it forward.
Which makes her a much tougher boss than I wish that she was. She has a lot to say about, as she should, about the conditions of care for kids. But this is what a movement that's 45 years old is about. And if viewers go and look at BroadwaySleepout.org and they look on that website and they see these 80 artists and growing from all of these different shows, what they might have a taste of is what our kids feel, right? So our kids get invited by Stephanie and other members of the Broadway community to come to their shows. And the kids sit there, many of them for the first time, and they look on that stage. Some of them have dreams born in those seats. But they look and they see, Stephanie, and they see this icon of talent and warmth and generosity. And then they see her sleeping on the concrete, maybe down from their window. They look and they start to think to themselves, why does this woman who has everything going for her, why does she come over here to my corner of the world and spend the night?
And before we end, I wanted to get the website where people can get involved, donate. Where should they go? What's the number? What's the website?
Yeah, it's BroadwaySleepout.org.
.org.
And folks can click that on and, or whatever, I don't know what I was doing there. Was I clicking, typing, piano playing? They can sing that, and they can find opportunities to donate. There are also some raffle opportunities, so there's chances to win Hamilton tickets and tickets to the taping of Newsies, which Disney is doing in Los Angeles, and other great shows. Stephanie's going to be opening in Falsettos this fall on Broadway, so lots of great opportunities to come and be a part of this.
And because we are 1010 Wins Radio, I called our meteorologist to get the long-range forecast for Monday. Yes, I did.
What's Monday night?
Sunshine.
Get your umbrella. Okay, he said, meteorologist D.
Okay.
DeVore said, long-range forecast for Monday, it will be sticky, hot, humid, a chance of thunderstorms, temps in the low 70s. You can do it.
Okay,
Thank you,
we can do
Kevin.
it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Oh,
I wish
thank
you
you.
the best of luck on Monday.
Thank
And
you.
you can get more on this story at 1010wins.com and Facebook. Take care.
Thank you.